Fantastic. Now, everybody is trying to talk about saving the banks and we're going to nationalize, but personally, I think the thing that they're missing is the thing that we really should be saving. You know, in order to save the banks or the big three or any other company, we must first rescue something else from the brink of collapse, and that's our values. Despite what Ben Bernanke or Tim Geithner will tell you, if we don't have a real liquidity problem in the country, that's not the real problem. There's no real shortage of cash. We can make more. It's like the donuts. But there's a major shortage of a currency much more important than the almighty dollar, and that is honor and integrity and honesty. Last night, J.P. Morgan announced a catastrophic cut in their dividend from 38 cents a share to 5 cents a share. Guess what? Right after the news hit, their stock went up. Excuse me? I personally believe it's because investors are rewarding honesty and integrity. They don't believe any of these people. And when they cut the dividend, they're like, okay, maybe that's the bottom for those guys. Maybe now it's all out in the open. It's not always easy to do the right thing. Take Microsoft, for instance. I don't know if you've heard this story, but they recently were forced to lay off about 1,400 people. The first layoffs in their history. But unfortunately, due to an accounting glitch, which I hope wasn't happening with their software, they overpaid severance to 25 workers by an average of $4,000 to $5,000. Then they shorted another 24 people. Well, Microsoft found out and figured it all out, and they immediately paid the people that they had underpaid, and then they called up the people that had been overpaid by $5,000 and said, hey, can you send us some of that money back? Well, so far this story, common sense, right? What would you do? Well, today we learned that Microsoft has now decided to let those people that they overpaid by $4,000 to $5,000 keep the extra money. Why? Because somebody sent that letter to the media. And Microsoft didn't want to be seen in the media as asking workers that they just fired to pay back $4,000 to $5,000. Now, some would argue that this makes sense from a business standpoint. Bad PR, it's pricey, $125,000 is just a tiny fraction of their almost billion-dollar advertising budget. So it's completely inconsequential to them unless you happen to care about values. Regardless of what Microsoft says, those employees should give the extra money back. How do you sleep at night? It's not your money. It's the right thing to do. It was never yours in the first place. How did you not look at your check and say, wait a minute, you have overpaid me by... I mean, shame on you. And shame on Microsoft. Shame on you, Microsoft, for putting public relations above principles. You know, nobody said that living with honor and integrity would be easy, but the true test of character is not only what decisions you make when nobody's looking, but apparently today, now, it's also the decisions you make because everyone is looking. And tonight, all eyes are going to be on President Obama as he yaps about the state of the economy. Well, now he has a choice to make. He can talk about the stimulus package and all the great things he's going to do for individuals, or he can take a deep breath and look us all right in the eye and admit that no financial recovery will ever be possible in this country until we first recover our principles.